Hi, I'm Kevin Chang, a 15-year construction veteran turned construction tech entrepreneur. I'm the LinkedField CEO, and we're a staffing company with remote construction professionals. If you have any feedback, reach out on our comments or email us at linkfield.com. There's a lot of job openings in the industry, even though there's less people leaving or quitting their jobs. So in theory, this number should be going down, but in reality, it's going up because there's just more and more demand that's flooding the system. I'm looking at this problem. Why is it so hard for us to fill these open positions? We are trying to solve this labor shortage problem the wrong way. In the US, we have 500,000 unfilled construction jobs. The data also shows that there's hundreds of thousands of people trying to find jobs. In our community, our LinkedField community, we have over 4,000 construction pros. All of them are looking for work. Why aren't they finding each other and working with each other? We need a new and innovative way to solve this labor shortage problem. If you guys have your own insights or feedback about that, please leave it in the comments. The survey that was conducted by AGC and Autodesk, and both of them found that basically 85% of firms have listed job openings. Basically, they need to hire people. They also found over 90% of these companies struggle to find quote unquote qualified candidates for these available roles. They've interviewed people, but don't feel like they meet the bar. Construction's been a very regional business. It makes sense that if you have a project in one city, you look for talent around that city. And so when you are restricted to that region, you're recruiting within that region. Why can't we start looking beyond, right? So if you're a remote pro, go and search for jobs, because 91% of companies that responded to a survey saying they're struggling to find qualified candidates, those companies will probably be more open to get new talent from outside of the region and be more open to remote positions. So there's a common theme is showing a survey result where they report 61% of construction companies report that they have projects that were delayed by this labor shortage. So it's not just they have trouble filling open job positions. These unfilled job positions have actually delayed the project. This particular report is called a workforce survey report, and it's conducted by the AGC and Autodesk. It's a whole industry problem. Blue collar shortages are causing a delay in our supply chain. So then supplies and materials are delayed. And in turn, it's causing projects to be delayed, which causes more cost for project owners. So it becomes more expensive to build. So then owners, thinking that it's more expensive to build, projects can't move forward, so they cancel projects, which hurts the industry. So then when you don't have jobs and demand goes down, then more people are being laid off or they leave the industry. Then we have another kind of cyclical problem where we're losing more and more. Modular constructions and the myths and misconceptions. Modular or prefab is seen more as like boring or cookie cutter, but people are starting to change the perception. More cost economical, less mistake prone, and not to mention like schedule wise was so much better than this. We at LinkedField actually believe there's a way to divert certain tasks from traditional project management workflows to what we call pre-work. When you start a job, you have a team trying to go and reach out to 30 stakeholders, subcontractors, and collect their submittals, for example, right? And then you can start reviewing the submittals once you collect it. Why do you have to do that when construction starts? If we can think about that flow, can we pre-work? They can hit the ground running. How would you like it if all of your project documents that you need to do your job is already on your desk, ready for you to actually review and compile and process to the owner, rather than you're waiting for information from this stakeholder or that, or you needed to follow up. I often get asked by our customers, what are some examples of tasks that could be outsourceable to a remote pro and you don't have to be on site? A remote work opportunity I'd like to highlight is labor rate collections. This position is looking for remote construction professionals with 3 years of construction experience and that they're familiar dealing with labor rates. Now, these are the labor rates that subcontractor stakeholders would provide to help calculate the final cost of a change order, for example, right? Someone that's familiar with labor rates, fringe benefits, the various insurance, state, federal insurance, and the allowable markups and items that can be included in the labor rates. So if you have experience in any of that, go to our job board and apply. Good luck. Getting a construction permit is time consuming and it causes delays for construction projects. A new construction tech company called Greenlight, and they're disrupting this construction permitting process. Today, they appear to be focusing on retail kind of businesses such as Chipotle, Domino's, or Chick-fil-A. Basically, they're helping these retail companies receiving their construction permits faster and in a more predictable manner. Retail projects tend to be, more similar nature between project and project, right? If you're building a Chick-fil-A, it's pretty much the same. I could see a solution like this, like Greenlight, be expanded to commercial and healthcare projects as well. Software like Greenlight has their own in-house review team to help you with the permitting review process, but it also has this ability to do digital plan review. This is where having this remote pro who has, maybe decades of experience dealing with permits, they can come in and help navigate and utilize the software in a way that can move this process forward. Are you looking for work opportunities? Then follow the big projects. Construction Dive has a list that tracks the announcement of large project wins from big construction companies across the US. Whenever there's a big announcement of a big project, it usually implies that there will be lots of work or lots of jobs created from that project. These are all huge job, huge contract and awards. But the pro tip I have here for you is that you don't want to focus only on trying to get yourself on one of these big jobs, but instead go find the other construction companies that are in the same geographic area, region as these big projects. There will be a shuffle of construction personnel in this region as people will be recruited to go work on these big projects. These companies where they'll be losing people to these big projects and their existing projects will be left with a void. This is when a remote pro can jump into the situation and try to save the day, right? And try and fill these voids. They're going to be more open to having a stopgap, a remote pro to come in to keep the projects running. The US Census Bureau tracks the growth or decline of various construction industries. I took the time to try to analyze some of these things so that you don't have to. The data doesn't lie. Amusement and recreation is doing well. It's showing 1.3% change from last month. And then from last year, it's up 15%. People are, after COVID, they're starting to come out and enjoy themselves, amusement part. Education at 19% since last year, again, doing very well. But what was very interesting here, even though with all the news out there about commercial sector being in trouble, the data here actually shows that although not great, it's doing okay. From last month, it's only up 0.7%, but from a year ago, it's still up almost 8%, 7.8%. So even though commercials aren't doing well, there's still enough need for commercial office buildings. It's still doing okay. The survey that was done to ask construction professionals how much software they use for, and some even reported that certain software prevented them from being able to share information with other project teams. These apps are actually creating inefficiencies to our system. The process is getting more bureaucratic. I feel like construction project management should be more like an assembly line. Before you condemn me, there are aspects of the project management process that would totally make sense to automate. An example of this is at the front end and at the back end of a construction process. For example, you have a dedicated closeout team that comes in and starts closeout happy and ensures a happy customer, which means repeat customers. The same team can then jump on the start of the project and start with collecting all the submittals the project needs for the next month so that when the primary project team show up, they can hit the ground running. This is a huge problem. Let me know what you think your solution is. I wrote a blog post about our fundraising experience. We were a startup that fundraised during COVID, and it was weird because it's different than how I thought fundraising would be. We started fundraising before COVID, and I had commitments already, and I was getting close to closing my fundraising round. But COVID hit. So I had to re-fundraise. Even the previous commitments, I basically had to re-fundraise with them and convince them that the new COVID world that's imminent, our problem is still relevant in this new COVID world, and that, heck, it's even a bigger problem, and that our solution is still relevant. If you're interested in that, go ahead and take a read and let me know what you think and maybe share your experience. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, or share. You can also sign up to our newsletter. I don't know why I threw that in there.